Hello folks, hopefully you're having a very good week. It is time for some more Hobby Nightmares with pictures too this time. A fair few, I think. Let's jump in, shall we? If you like what I do, please like the video. It does me wonders in the algorithm and make sure that more people can get some positive energy out of Hobby Nightmares, or at least some catharsis about their 40k and wider tabletop hobby. So, Nids says, "Hello North. I wanted to tell you that I'm enjoying the new intro music to your videos, and I have another Hobby Nightmare for you from my time working at Games Workshop." Okay, alright, cool. Around the time of 4th edition 40k, I was excited that Space Marine players were allowed to take up to 6 dreadnoughts in their armies. This was exciting as this broke away from the 3 elite choices allowed by the classic force organisation chart from previous years to the optional additions as heavy support choices. As you would expect, the dreams of Iron Hand collectors had come true, as they could now play with an army of dreadnoughts if they wanted, led by a Forge Father. The plastic dreadnought model was a favourite of mine, as it had the same name as my high school mascot, and the weapons options the kit provided did not require glue. I plan to build an Ultramarines army of dreadnoughts, with lore behind each dreadnought model having a unique name and iconography depicting their accomplishments in battle within the tyrannic wars that forged them into their dreadnought armour. Alright, so you're kind of doing like Imperial Knights before Imperial Knights. It's pretty cool. Of these ironclad heroes, my most prized dreadnought was named Glory, who was featured in White Dwarf and in a poster along with other heroes for a summer campaign. I believe it was the fall of Medusa 5. Glory was unique for me as he was part of a Forge World kit, the first I ever owned. He was equipped with a Tyrannid Bone Sword as his close combat weapon, indicating he was a veteran of the Tyrannic War. Please see attached image. Right, let's dive into these images, shall we? Here we go. Here he is. Cool. I like him. I like him a lot. Several other dreadnoughts soon followed, each with freehand painted heraldry and with heroic names. Each of these 6 dreadnoughts were displayed in my store's display case, as Glory and his bodyguards were representing our store's local heroes in the campaign. When promoting the fall of Medusa 5, customers were introduced to these models and encouraged to build and convert their own heroes to join in the battle. We held hobby classes, a painting competition, as well as a map-based campaign to battle over. I remember the excitement everybody had playing those days, as custom heroes from every faction added to the story that affected the outcome of the campaign. However, near the end of the campaign is where the nightmare occurred. Well, before we get into that, I just want to say, if that sounds good to you, then go to your Games Workshop manager and demand that they let you play games in store. Or, better still, don't do that, because they're long-suffering. Write letters to Games Workshop. Write letters, call them, do whatever you need to do. Show them that there is a market for playing games in stores and doing events like this. One summer Saturday, I arrived at a fully packed store. Already, each of the 6 gaming tables had raging 40k battles upon them. 3 of my fellow staff members were in a bustle attending to customers and their shopping needs or coaching young players in a battle. My store manager had also just arrived before me and was pleased to see everybody was having a good time. After clocking in, I noticed that most of my dreadnoughts, including Glory, were missing from the store's locked display case. I asked my manager if he knew where they were, but he had also just arrived and had no idea, and suggested speaking with the other staff. As I made my way over to one of them, I spotted several of my dreadnoughts being used in several of the games across the store. After speaking with one of the staff members, let's call him Jensen, he had decided that since my dreadnoughts were store heroes, they should be participating in that day's pivotal narrative event. And normally, I would agree to this as a cool idea. However, I was not asked for permission to lend out my personal models to be used by customers in a fully packed store. Glory was not even in battle currently, as he was placed on a shelf near the game he was involved in after being removed from it. Here's where you should check your tea to see if it is still hot. Okay, I'm going to have a controversial opinion here, man. If you've paid for this model, okay, then yes, it is your property and they need to ask. If you've used store goods, right, and you've been given store goods to make something for the store, that's still technically yours, but it's for the store, they don't need to ask you permission to use it. Alright? That happened to me too. They don't need to ask you. You know, if you've gone and gotten models free from the store, they don't need to ask you to use it. Just is what it is. But if you bought it with your own money, fair enough. You know, fair enough. That is fair enough. I would still say that it's in the store, so technically, unless you've said don't use it unless I'm there, technically, you know, they can use it, I guess, but, like, it's still, yeah, a crappy thing to do, I agree. I remember when you spoke about how disrespectful it was when opponents move or touch your models in a game without asking. Yes, I did, but this is not the same. Well, this was far worse and outright disrespectful. Imagine several people with God knows how clean of hands playing with your models without you even knowing about it. Well, I've said my point on that, right? If they're yours and you bought them, fair enough. I can see why you're upset. If it's store models that you're using for a campaign that are yours because your manager gave them to you, no. It's still, if they're in the store, they can be used, as far as I'm concerned. After locating each of my dreadnoughts and seeing who was using them, I gave the okay to my fellow staffers to continue using my dreadnoughts, but to keep a close eye on them and lock them away when the game was finished. Jensen simply looked at me and said, okay, before turning back to the game he was overseeing, as if he didn't hear what I had asked him. I began my duties of restocking products from the back room, and as I neared the shelf that Glory was last spotted, I asked Jensen where the model had gone, as it was no longer there. He was shocked to see that Glory had just vanished, and exclaimed that the model had been right there only 5 minutes earlier when I had spoken to him. I urged him to find it quickly, as it could not have gone far, and no one could have left the store in that short amount of time. All the staff and even the customers began looking around the store for the missing dreadnought, even to the extent of digging through their figure cases in the chance it ended up in one by accident. Yeah, by accident. As the search was going, I explained to my manager of the situation and how I had asked Jensen to take responsibility for watching over my things. He agreed that this could be a great example of why staff need to be aware of the customers while they are in the store, as anything could have been taken, not just my models. Just as in, you know, your Who Done It video from several months ago, the staff needed to be reminded of awareness in store at all times. The last thing we wanted was another thief in the store. Once I finished stocking the last of the products from the back room, I found Glory, and strangely, he had made it all the way from the shelf across the shop floor into the stockroom shelf without anybody noticing. North, I wonder how that would have happened. Wink. What? Don't tell me you did this. Don't tell me you did this just to teach one of the guys in there a lesson. I'm not going to be impressed if you were this manipulative, man. Don't tell me you took this model, put it in the back room, and then lied to the other staff saying, "Where's my model? Where's my model?" To try and teach them a lesson about staying, like, you know, observant in the store. Don't even tell me. Because that is a prime Games Workshop nonsense thing to do. Please. As I exited the stockroom, Jensen, who was responsible for debuting my models without my permission and had blown off my request to watch over them, informed me that the whole store had stopped their activities to search for my missing model. At this time, all the other dreadnoughts had returned to their store display case. A thorough search of the shelves, jackets, and figure cases had been performed, and the customers were ready to start searching the vehicles in the parking lot for my prized model. I was happy to see that everybody came together in search of Glory. I said, "Not to worry, as Glory has been located and everybody can get back to their hobby." You see, after I asked Jensen to keep an eye on my models, he simply turned back to me and returned to the game he was running. I thought at the very least he could have returned the model to the display case, as it was not even being used by anybody, but no, he concentrated on the game in front of him instead. While restocking a nearby shelf... Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to close the window. I'm gonna get annoyed here. I'm going to get annoyed. I'm closing the window. Cat, you may want to go outside. You may want to go outside, puss. Alright? Alright, mate. Go on. Daddy is going to get annoyed. But he concentrated on the game in front of him instead. Whilst restocking a nearby shelf, I had picked up Glory and headed to the stock room for more product without anybody in the store noticing. I had also informed my manager of what I had done to further use it as a training point of awareness, as well as a little punishment for the disrespect. Mate, you're a dickhead. There you go. You're a dickhead, mate. You are. This is not a nice thing to do. Okay? The guy made a mistake. The best thing to do would be to say, listen, did you hear what I said there? You know, I need to put that model away, and all the other models, you need to stop what you're doing with that game and look around to see, you know, where the models are and what's going on. That's what you do, mate. You don't do something like this. You don't lie to people and manipulate people and make them feel bad because your little foo-foos were hurt. Alright? The disrespect of it. Dude, you're a fellow staff member. Shut your face. You're not the manager. You're a fellow staff member. You're in this together. How dare you do something like this to your co-workers? I'm serious. This is manipulative, and it's just... I don't... Dude. It's manipulative, and it's completely fabricated as a training... Dude, it's not your place to train other staff. You're a staff member. And even if you were the assistant manager, which isn't a thing at Games Workshop, but even if you were an assistant manager, I'd still say this was a dickhead thing to do. Even if you were a manager, I'd say this is a dickhead thing to do. Okay? You stop what's going on. You say, listen, man, can you please look after my models? And if you can't, can I put them away? And that's what you do. You put them away. You don't take it to the back room as a little testing exercise to manipulate and stress out. You haven't just stressed out your co-worker. You've stressed out everybody that was there that day to have a good time. You're a dickhead. You are. I'm sorry, but this is a really crappy thing to do. Really crappy. I'm taking the model off the screen. That's really crappy. It's something to do with not just your co-workers, but to your customers. They're all there trying to have a good time and trying to indulge in the store, but you had to have your little moment, didn't you? My God. I warned you. I warned you that you shouldn't have done this before. I sniffed it coming a while ago. Good Lord. The self-righteousness of this. I had also informed my manager of what I had done to further use as a training point on awareness, as well as a little punishment for the disrespect. Who the hell are you? Good Lord. I'm going to be honest with you, man. You don't want to listen to this. It's people like you ruin this company. Doing stuff like this ruin this company. For everybody else. Like, people who brown nose their managers and do things like what you did, ruined Games Workshop for people like me. For normal hobbyists and passionate hobbyists. Alright? I should have sniffed a rat when you said when you were in White Dwarf, because only people who brown nose get in there to things like that. Dude, I know I'm being harsh, but this has rubbed me right up the wrong way. Eventually, the staff figured out what really happened and wanted to have a talk with me outside, away from the customers. I agree. Dude, you're lucky you're not getting a slap. I agreed and asked my manager to tag along for the discussion. Yeah, sure, of course you did. You little brown noser. You want them out there to... Yeah. Jensen expressed his anger towards me, as he should, believing that I pranked him to make him look like a fool in front of a store full of customers. He's right. This person is not called Jensen, alright? He's called Chad. Now, he's called Chad now. He is correct, mate. You're not. I countered back saying, and I quote, "Was I asked if it was okay to use my models to begin with? Did I say it was fine giving my property to complete strangers? Did I not ask everybody to keep an eye on them? It sounds like the only person you should be upset with is yourself. I'm grateful everybody came together to look for my models, but at the end of the day, this would not have happened if some respect was given first," unquote. Dude, you're a tool. You really are. Just then, and I kid you not, North, a passing bird dropped a shit on Chad as he attempted to escalate the conversation, but my manager and myself held in laughter as we saw the white goo plop onto his red shirt and dribble down his name tag. I had to stop him in his rant. "Listen, I apologise for upsetting you, but you may want to clean the crap off your shirt before going back to work. You do not want to look like a fool in front of the rest of the store." I pointed out at the mess on his shirt. Mate, you're a dickhead. You're a dickhead. Like, literally. Feel free to email me and rant away, but you're a dickhead. like, so not only have you lied to your fellow staffers who you're supposed to be in a solidarity with, not only have you halted an entire hobby day to make it about you, to do some training that you're not qualified to give because you're not the manager, right? Not only have you made people look bad in front of their employer for your own benefit, for a very slight faux pas, right? Now, you're trying to embarrass somebody outside the store too, talking down to them like you're the one in charge. You're a job's worth, mate. You're a brown noser, right? I'm telling you now. I wouldn't like you. Like, if we were in the same job, if we were working at Games Workshop together, you would be public enemy #1. I'd be like, this guy, this is treacherous. You don't cross your brothers in arms like that. You don't. Right? It's you guys, you're the staffers and the manager. The manager's on, you should all be working together, yes, but the staffers should band together and be in cahoots with each other. What you did, mate, was really shitty. He did a really small faux pas, and it is, technically, if your stuff is in the store, you know what I mean? Yes, he should have asked you to use it. I agree with you there. He should have asked you to use it, absolutely. No problem there whatsoever, right? But it is minor in terms of what infractions are. If you leave stuff in the store and you built up an entire campaign around your models, which is quite an egotistical thing to do, by the way, but you made an entire campaign about your models, right? So this guy said, okay, well, we'll use the models as, for all he knows, they might be store property. What does he know? What doesn't he know, right? It's a small faux pas. A short talking to, a friendly talking to, and reminder would have been fine before putting the most prized of those models away. What you did was lie to your fellow staffers. You manipulated them. You stopped the entire hobby day to be about you and your little training exercise that you're not even qualified to give, and you made him look bad in front of his customers and his employer. You're a douche, mate. You're a douche. And we've all had people like this in work, by the way. It doesn't matter what job you're in. I bet each of you listening has come across a douche like this. I'm being serious. Be very careful what you send into Hobby Nightmares, because there's sometimes I won't agree with you. And this is one of those times. I mean, man. I'm sorry for coming down so hard on this, but this has really triggered me. Like, I just... Nah, man. We all had a laugh about the incident, and Jensen, or Chad as we're now calling him, was never disrespectful to me or my models again. At least not to my face. Dude, I'm telling you now, you were public enemy #1 at that store after this with the rest of the staff. If there are multiple staff members there, they all think you're a douche. I'm telling you. Don't drink any cups of tea that they offer to make you. That's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, everybody had a blast in the store event, and I even got in a game myself, defeating a noob killer who thought he was the best player in the store. Dude, aren't you just a hero? But that will be a nightmare for another day. Today, Glory sits on my desk retired as my Ultramarines have made way for my Salamanders to be my focal Space Marines. That is until I finish my Grey Knight. So at least you're a man of culture at some point. North, what do you think? Who was the bigger nightmare in the story? Jensen for using my models without my permission, or myself for intentionally hiding my model to teach him a lesson? I would like your thoughts on the issue. Well, you've definitely got my thoughts on the issue, mate. I hope you learn. This was not a cool thing to do. I apologise for calling you names, because you seem like a nice guy, but this was not a nice thing to do. This was not a good... This is not good, man. This is not good. What you pulled was from some prime, manipulative Games Workshop BS. That's what you pulled there. And I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. P.S. Your stories and words mean a lot to us. Please keep them going, and I wish the best for you and your family. Well, thank you very much. And you too, mate. You too. I hope you've learned. And I hope you never drank any cups of tea or took any food from any of your other staff members in that store, because it might be pants food. You know? Or you know, urine tasting tea. Because, like, you would have been public enemy #1 in any store that I've been in. I'm telling you now, man. Not great. At all. Right, moving on. Sam says, Dear North, it's Sam, the bourbon-sipping space wolf from the Bluegrass State again, wanting your input on what could be a potential hobby nightmare. Alright. My main local friendly gaming store is hosting 2 Warhammer tournaments next month. For charity. It will have the same usual proceeds from entrance fees and the prize raffle going to a charity, but there is one extra caveat. They will also introduce a system where you can spend $1 to either re-roll one of your dice outside the stratagem or make your opponent re-roll. Not only did the organizer not specify how many times you can do it, which means no cap, but they did say you can do so in the other games in the store too. What? I'm all for fun ways to raise money for noble causes, and couldn't care less overall if I win or lose at a charity tournament, but I feel like giving any of the local Jensens an incentive to rain dollar bills like a stag party at a strip club just to give an edge in a game of toy soldiers is not a good way to do things. Am I being too cynical? I've been at the gaming table for close to 30 years, and I know that if someone can exploit a rule or format, it will be exploited. Yet, with it all being for charity, is it worth the possible feels bads that can happen? I would like your input on this. Also, here are some of my models from the Skaven Tide box set. Rest assured, they are from my local gaming shop and not directly from my local Games Workshop. Well, I'll give my opinion on that in a second. Guys in the comments who are watching this video, whilst I show you these models, maybe formulate your own answer to that question. Do you reckon this is a bit beyond the pale? Is this something that should be happening? Let me know. But let's have a look at some models whilst you mull that over in your minds. Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. I love the sword, dude. Dude, these are gonna make perfect Void Talons. Absolutely. Perfect Void Talons, dude. Maybe not this guy. Still, looks cool. I like the colour scheme. I like the ethereal colour scheme. Looks cool. Looks cool. Prosecutors. They look so much better than the last ones. I mean, they shouldn't have nuked half the Stormcast Eternal range. And I tell you what, I really hope that this kind of makes Games Workshop aware that you can't just nuke half a model range and expect people to just go out and buy the next box set. Do you know what I mean? Because I know this box set is hardly sold. You know, it's losing it's not losing the money, but it kind of is. Like they're hardly making any money on it at all. And I really hope that from now on they, you know, take note. But yeah, these are really cool models. And in terms of your question, for me, as long as it is going to charity, and it can only be done, you know, maybe once a turn, I'd be fine with that. If there was a limit on it. If it was once per turn, and all of the money's definitely going to charity, not a problem. There should be a box on each table where you put your money, do you know what I mean, to go to charity. That's fine. I wouldn't... Once a turn, not a problem. For it to be, like, pay to win now, that's where I have the issue. That's an icky thing that I don't want coming into the hobby. And I don't think any of us want that coming into the hobby, right? So the way he's instituting it is kind of nonsense, but the actual idea behind it's okay. Do you know what I mean? What do you guys think in the comment section down below? Was I too harsh on the Games Workshop bro from earlier? And was I too harsh on the guy doing the store raffle? Not store raffle, but you know what I mean? The charity thing just now. Let me know. Anyway, I love you a long time. Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend and whatever else is going on in your lives. I'll be back tomorrow with a video I'm very, very excited about. It is a video with Black Lodge, the Black Lodge Gaming group. It is currently my favorite YouTube channel. It is a YouTube channel I listen to when I'm at the gym doing all my stuff. They are amazing. I'll link them down below. Please go give them a subscribe, and I'm going to keep plugging them until they get bigger than me, because they deserve to be. They're amazing. And I can't wait to have that conversation with them tomorrow. We're going to be talking all things role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games. So if you like your D&D, your Shadowrun, your Pendragon, your Vampire the Masquerade especially, right? A Shadow Dark, any RPG that you want to play on the tabletop, get in with us tomorrow, because we're going to have a little talk about it. And these two guys are really, really, really good to listen to, so I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, so I'll see you then. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon. Have a good one. Bye now.